Today we'll be using wet cleaning, sensor cleaning from visible dust to clean the sensor of a Fuji camera XE1. The Fuji camera XE1 has a mirrorless sensor. Basically, the sensor is very exposed to external elements, so there's no mirror in there. Although it has a sensor cleaning mechanism itself, but sometimes this is not functioning for stains or anything that falls on the sensor in that case, or any particles or sticky particles or oil. So sometimes we require to do wet cleaning. So in this case we have the visible dust swab, green swab from visible dust. These are V-shaped because Fuji has basically the sensor is 16 millimeter across approximately, and so we can be using 1.6x size, which is approximately around 16 millimeter from visible dust, and go from right to left, or from left to right, or right to left. But if we will be using, if we don't have that 1.6x, we can use full frame basically swab from visible dust in that case, which is 24 millimeter approximately, so we can go from up and down, or basically in this fashion. We can also turn the camera in a way 90 degree, and basically going from left to right or right to left, so which is a lot easier. I prefer myself to be using 1.6x most of the time, which is easier to handle, and there is basically firmer because of the short distance. So now before doing that, we have to make sure that there is nothing standing on the sensor, so we don't want to squeeze anything on the sensor. In this case we'll be using visible dust Xeon bulb blower, which is a filtered bulb blower, which is very safe. We turn the camera upside down, we blow a couple of puffs to make sure there is nothing on the sensor. Also I have basically used to blowing a couple of puffs on the swab, so if there's any basically thread, loose thread during transportation, so it comes off. So we have three solutions here. All these three solutions are compatible with green swabs from visible dust. This is V-dust. This is a smear way, which is basically used for very stubborn oil or particles or stains, and this is sensor clean basically, which is very gentle, but they all have anti dust capability, so prevent dust from sticking to the sensor. So in this case I'll be using V-dust plus again, and I'll try to turn the camera this way and show you how to go from left to right. So basically I use 1.6 or 16 millimeter, so I use quasar or sensor loop to examine the status of the sensor before cleaning. So in this case I'll be using V-dust plus, but you only need to use one liquid, but depending on what kind of a stain you have, so you might be using different liquids on the sensor. So again, you go across to make sure you cover all over, and with one motion you go and basically you take the swab out. If there's a need to go second time, you apply the same thing. then you turn around and just basically take the swab out. In this case, you examine with the sensor loop, and that's final.